I'm Mike Tamelo, Section Chief of FEMA's Urban Search and Rescue Response System. Gaining the trust and cooperation of people traumatized during a disaster is one of our top priorities. We understand how deeply families care for their companion animals. In fact, when given the choice, some people will risk their lives in order to remain with their pets. After the successful passage of the Federal Pets Evacuation and Transportation Standards Act in the fall of 2006, FEMA's urban search and rescue teams, along with other government and private sector groups, are now including the rescue of companion and service animals in our disaster plans. The following information will be useful for our response teams when dealing with people who have companion animals.
USAR task forces are very good at handling the human side of a rescue. We all have our assigned disciplines, but with wide area searches and an all-hazards approach, the probability exists we'll all be part of a search team sometime during the deployment.
I think if we have some basic tools and some knowledge of dog behavior, animal behavior, we'll be able to do a pretty good job even if we're divided up and the canine folks aren't available.
Today we're going to identify some of the issues we face when we're tasked with a companion animal rescue. First, we must identify whether the companion animal will be rescued along with their owner or sheltered in place. Keeping the disaster victim and their pet together is a priority. However, if the victim is in immediate need of medical care and evacuation, the animal can be safely sheltered in place. Because of fear, separation from their owner, aggression, or stress, the animal may not want to cooperate during the rescue.
Predicting how an animal is going to react, especially in a disaster, an emergency, or any stressful situation, cannot always be easy. You can look for the obvious signs that the animal is going to give you, the growling, the crouching down, the ears back, that type of thing. But sometimes little things can set off an animal, and you can't always judge these ahead of time and know what's going to happen.
When dealing with a canine, there are several warning signs the dog will bite. Ears back, tail down, hackles up, incontinence, bared teeth, growling, excessive salivation, panting, and a demeanor that indicates the animal's going to bite. Some warning signs are very subtle, so don't lose your focus or let your guard down when in close proximity to an animal.
And don't always assume that because a dog is a specific breed, it's going to act in a specific way. Pit bulls and Rottweilers, those types of dogs sometimes get very bad reputations for being mean and aggressive, but not all of them are like that. There are some very friendly, large breed dogs out there. There are also some small breed dogs that most people think as little lap dogs, friendly little pets that sit around with grandma, that can be some of the worst bite cases.
It should never be a surprise when an animal bites.
And if you're getting a bad feeling, trust your gut because it probably is going to be bad.
You treat all dogs like they're going to bite you, and approach them slowly. Some of them will be real nice and run up to you, and some of them won't. And you have to be prepared for both.
Beware that the owner cannot predict behavior when the dog is experiencing stress. If the owner tells you the dog won't bite, they're wrong. Rescue situations are stressful, and therefore the dog's behavior may be unpredictable. Here are some options with an aggressive dog. Giving the owner the opportunity to contain the dog may be the safest option and is less traumatic for the animal. Offering food may give you an opportunity to apply a collar, leash, muzzle, or place in a kennel. Cats are another common companion animal, but they too can react aggressively under stress. Here are some typical uncooperative behaviors to look for in felines. Retreating to an isolated location. Hissing, a low growl, bared teeth, tail twitching, swatting or scratching, and flat ears. Cats are defensive animals. They typically won't attack, but they do scratch and bite when threatened. The wounds can be severe.
These animals are under a great deal of stress. They're fearful, they may feel cornered, and they'll want to protect themselves and their territory. So it depends on a lot of those factors on how aggressive they may be with the person coming in and how well they've been socialized up until that point as well.
Here are some options with a frightened cat. Give the family an opportunity to package the cat for transport. Many owners already have a kennel or cat carrier in their home. If they don't, another resource may be a pillowcase. To the pet owner, a pillowcase may seem extreme, but professional rescue organizations say this option is appropriate. Food may gain some cooperation from the cat, but it's not always a major motivator. If you must pick up the cat, scruff it by the back of the neck. It actually calms a cat and is the safest way to prevent being bitten or scratched. Allowing the owner to utilize a collar or leash, or holding the animal may be a temporary solution. This has its obvious drawbacks once you leave the home. The cat could get loose and become unretrievable or injure the owner. Dogs and cats are the most common companion animals we'll encounter, but they're not the only ones. Birds, reptiles, even a guinea pig may be considered an important family member. Many of the guidelines we use for cats and dogs will apply to other companion animals. Frequently, they're already contained in cages or aquariums. We may also consider sheltering the animal in place.
Sometimes you can't rescue the animal. It's too dangerous for the animal, it's too dangerous for the rescuer, and you have a bigger job to do, so you can't risk everything based on that one animal.
There are two situations where sheltering in place is appropriate. Patient care, treatment, and transport has exhausted our immediate resources. Or aggression is so significant that immediate rescue may jeopardize the safety of the animal, owner, or rescuers. Sheltering in place involves making sure the animal's environment is safe and they're provided with ample food and fresh water, then marking and noting the location for later specialized pet rescue. Identification tagging must be accomplished each time a companion animal is encountered. The identification process ensures us that the owner and the animal either stay together or are easily reunited. The most common option used by professional rescue organizations appears to be identification tags, such as wristbands used in a hospital. If the animal is not aggressive, place the ID tag around its neck. A corresponding ID tag should be placed around the wrist of the owner. If aggression is a problem, the owner may secure the animal ID tag, or the owner may assist you in placing the ID tag around the collar, through the muzzle, on the kennel, or in extreme cases, attached next to our search markings. Once the animal's been packaged for transport, keep in mind that having the owner hold the animal may be appropriate for walking or riding in a bus, but it's unsafe in a plane or helicopter. There are many modes of transportation that may be utilized. The incident support team or your planning section will determine the most appropriate matching of resources to needs.
Try to keep them separated as much as possible. Always keep them on leashes. Use muzzles whenever you can. Small dogs, cats, other type of household pets like rabbits, gerbils, guinea pigs, put them into containers, into some type of a safe carrier that's made for animals, that the other animals can't get to them. This is going to help minimize the risk of injury to the animals and to the rescuers.
Once you shut the door to the kennel or attach the lead to the animal, your job's not done. We may be responsible for the continued care of the animal and calling for treatment when necessary. Continued care may include maintaining warmth, adequate cooling, hydration, nutrition, and emergency decon. In the event of an animal bite or scratch, infection is our primary concern. Consult the medical team in the task force for information if you're injured. The federal government is dedicated to companion animal rescue, and we are part of that effort.
It's the right thing to do. It's a win-win situation. It gains us the respect and the trust and the cooperation of the victims. I think the other thing it does is it gets the whole country behind us, because we're doing something that everybody perceives as right.
Our urban search and rescue teams will now have an opportunity that we've never had before. Working with other government and private sector groups gives us the ability to rescue people and their companion animals together. With that concept in mind, we can fulfill our primary mission of saving the maximum number of lives possible.